St. Gall, Gallen, or Gallus according to hagiographic tradition, was a disciple and one of the traditional 12 companions of Saint Columbanus on his mission from Ireland to the continent. St. Deicolus is called an older brother of Gall. Biography. The fragmentary oldest life was recast in the 9th century by two monks of Reichenau, enlarged in 816 to 824 by the celebrated Wetness, and about 833 to 884 by Walafrid Strabo, who also revised a book of the miracles of the saint. Other works ascribed to Walafrid tell of St. Gall in prose and verse. Gallus's origin is a matter of dispute. According to his 9th-century biographers in Reichenau, he was from Ireland and entered Europe as a companion of Columbanus. The Irish origin of the historical Gallus was called into question by Hilty, who proposed it as more likely that he was from the Vosges or Alsace region. Shaw proposed that Gallus may have been of Irish descent but born and raised in the Alsace. According to the 9th-century hagiographies, Gallus as a young man he went to study under Comgall of Bangor Abbey. The monastery at Bangor had become renowned throughout Europe as a great centre of Christian learning. Studying in Bangor at the same time as Gall was Columbanus, who with 12 companions set out about the year 589. Gall and his companions established themselves with Columbanus at first at Lacoy in Gall. In 610, Columban was exiled by leaders opposed to Christianity and fled with St. Gall to Alemannia. He accompanied Columbanus on his voyage up the Rhine River to Bregenz, but when in 612 Columbanus travelled on to Italy from Bregenz, Gall had to remain behind due to illness and was nursed at Arbon. He remained in Alemannia, where, with several companions, he led the life of a hermit in the forests southwest of Lake Constance, near the source of the river Steinach. Cells were soon added for 12 monks whom Gall carefully instructed. Gall was soon known in Switzerland as a powerful preacher. When the see of Constance became vacant, the clergy who assembled to elect a new bishop were unanimously in favor of Gall. He, however, refused, pleading that the election of a stranger would be contrary to church law. Sometime later, in the year 625, on the death of Eustachius, abbot of Lacoy, a monastery founded by St. Columbanus, members of the community were sent by the monks to request St. Gall to undertake the government of the monastery. He refused to quit his life of solitude, and undertake any office of rank which might involve him in the cares of the world. He was then an old man. He died at the age of 95 around 646 to 650 in Arbon. Legends. From as early as the 9th century, a series of fantastically embroidered lives of St. Gall were circulated. Prominent was the story in which Gall delivered Friedeiberga from the demon by which she was possessed. Friedeiberga was the betrothed of Sigebert II, king of the Franks, who had granted an estate at Arbon to Gall so that he might found a monastery there. Another popular story has it that as St. Gall was travelling in the woods of what is now Switzerland, he was sitting one evening warming his hands at a fire. A bear emerged from the woods and charged. The holy man rebuked the bear, so awed by his presence it stopped its attack and slunk off to the trees. There it gathered firewood before returning to share the heat of the fire with St. Gall. The legend says that for the rest of his days St. Gall was followed around by his companion the bear. Veneration. His feast is celebrated on the 16th of October. Iconography. Images of St. Gall typically represent him standing with a bear. Legacy. When Columbanus, Gall and the companions left Ireland for mainland Europe, they took with them learning and the written word. Their effect on the historical record was significant, as the books were painstakingly reproduced on vellum by monks across Europe. Many of the Irish texts destroyed in Ireland during Viking raids were preserved in abbeys across the Channel. Abbey of Saint Gall. After his death, a small church was erected which developed into the Abbey of St. Gall, the nucleus of the canton of St. Gallen in eastern Switzerland, the first abbot of which was St. Udma. The monastery was freed from its dependence of the Bishop of Constance, and Emperor Louis the Pious made it an imperial institution. The Abbey of St. Gall, the monastery and especially its celebrated scriptorium played an illustrious part in Catholic and intellectual history until it was secularized. In 1798, in popular culture, St. Gall is the name of a wheel-shaped hard cheese made from the milk of Frisian cows, which won a gold medal at the World Cheese Awards held in Dublin 2008. Robertson Davies, in his book, The Manticore, interprets the legend in Jungian psychological terms. In the final scene of the novel where David Staunton is celebrating Christmas with Littleoty Fitziputli, Magnus Isengram, and Dunstan Ramsay, he is given a gingerbread bear. Ramsay explains that St. Gall made a pact of peace with a bear who was terrorizing the citizens of the nearby village. They would feed him gingerbread and he would refrain from eating them. The parable is a Jungian exhortation to make peace with one's dark side. Bibliography. Joint, Maud, T.R. and Dead. The Life of St. Gall, Clanic Press, Bernemondsey, 1927. ISBN 0-94799291-X. Schei, Max, Gallus, Der Heilige in seiner Zeit, Schwab Verlag, Basel, 2011. ISBN 978-3-7965-27494. Schmid, Christian, Gallausland, auf den Spuren des Heiligen Gallus, Paulus Verlag, Freiburg, 2011. ISBN 978-3-7228-07942. Music and Musicians in Medieval Irish Society, Anbucklick pp. 165-190, Early Music XXVII No. 2, May 2000, Music and Prehistoric and Medieval Ireland, Anbucklick pp.